This is all I got left. No murder has happened yet.
It wasn't good. It didn't hit. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's all the tabs? A thriller that is about
gentrification.
And I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. Okay, but I feel bamboozled by what's on the back. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a simple author taste test, and today's author is Alyssa Cole. I have been wanting to read when no one is watching. I got this from the library. However, I am starting off with One of Us Knows, which is her newest release. It just came out today, actually, April 16th. But I was sent this copy, so let me say the whole spiel. I was gifted this copy from William Moreau. I think so. I gotta put the air conditioner on. I'll be back. Okay. So I'm starting off with One of Us Knows. I'm not quite at the halfway mark. I'm probably like 48% of the way through. So we have a girl named, not Celeste. Celeste is the other girl. What's her name? Kenitria. They go by Ken. I'm pretty sure Ken or Kenitria is the person, but they do have DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. She has alters. It's at the beginning of the book. Della is 65. They're the manager caretaker. Solomon goes by he, him. He's 30. He's the system assistant manager. And apparently her, Kenitria, and Solomon have had some kind of relationship. One of the alters is Kiki, and she's 4. Empress is the teenager, so she's 16. She goes by she, they. Mesmer is the self-caretaker, emotions, 20 years old, she, her. Ken was actually dormant. They were inactive. She's 37. Lurk is a chill dude, age unknown, goes by he, him. Rapunzel, trauma holder, question mark. Fragment, question mark. Age unknown, gender unknown. No answer. Kenitria as a person was dormant, and the other alters were taking over for, I think, about a decade. Like, a decade or 6 years. I'm gonna go with a decade. When she pops back up as herself, taking control of her body and not her alters, she finds out that she was evicted from her current apartment. She's on a boat and she's going to this castle, and she's going to become the caretaker of the castle. While she's there, someone is murdered. She's the prime suspect. Ken and her alters must band together to prove their innocence and discover the truth of Kavanaugh Island, which is the island that the castle is on, and their own past. I don't know if maybe figuring out why she has alters, because I think she remembers nothing. At least Ken as a person remembers nothing. So far right now, I guess I would give it a 4. It's starting to pick up now because we literally, in the 160 pages, we finally gotten, not to the murder yet, but we finally got to who popped up, because I'm not gonna say who it is, but we finally just got to the part where that person is comes to the island. The 160 pages so far has really just been about Ken and her alters. That's it. And I actually read a review before I started this or after I started it, and someone did say like it's 2 different storylines. One about Ken and her alters, and one about the murder and trying to solve that or whatever. What I'm hoping is that we get to the murder soon, because I can't imagine we get further and further into it and then we just have a little bit to like solve it and everything. It's going okay. I feel like I may enjoy this one more. I think because the character has DID, it's just confusing. Even though she did go out of her way to like make it less confusing, because when it's one of the alters talking, it's like italicized, it's in parentheses and stuff, so it's not that confusing. At the same time, it still is.
I'm trying to film on my phone, so that's why I'm trying to get further into it. Exhibit A as to why I'm so nervous about this book is I have not quite 100 pages left. I probably still have like 120 left, but I'm way past the halfway mark. This is all I got left. No murder has happened yet. So that I don't think this is gonna get a second book. When it happens, the murder must be the conflict. When that happens, we gonna have to solve it like that. It's still good. Like, I'm liking what I'm reading before. I went ahead and started tabbing. I have my tabs right here. I don't normally do 3 different colors, but because the cover, it's giving 3 different colors, so that's why I picked 3.
Good morning. I don't have that much time. It's 6:42. I have 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So I brought both books. I have no idea what to rate this. I'm trying to think. I know it's not a 1. I don't know. I know it's not a 1 star because I was satisfied with the answers that we got. So it's between a 2 and a 3, but a 2 means that I didn't like anything. No, a 1 means I didn't like anything. 2 or a 3, so it's like, should it be a 2.5 maybe? But if it's a 2.5, I still need to decide to round it down to a 2 or round it up to a 3. I'll say a 2.5 for now. It wasn't good. I mentioned that our character has DID, and it's basically, and I said, you know, we're really just spending the whole book with her and her alters, and that's exactly it. For over half of this book, we spend in her not inner city. What is it? Inner mind? Her inner world? I think it's called an inner world. And that's her system, right? That's all her alters, the different stories that they have, how they interact with each other. And that's it. And then we finally, I did tab it though. And then we finally get somewhere with this murder. What I would have hoped for, I would have, and I hate this, what I'm about to say, I would have loved to see the murder at the beginning, like in the prologue, and then just start at the beginning and then make our way to it, you know, eventually. I thought we would get introduced to the character, her alters, all of that, and then we would get the murder, and then we would spend majority of the book trying to figure out who did it, which one of her alters knows something. It didn't hit. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's all the tabs? See, it's a bunch of tabs. Because, you know what? So, yeah, I may give it a 2.5, but round it up to a 3, just because looking at the amount of tabs I have. What time is it? Oh, 6:45. 3 minutes left. Next, I will be starting When No One Is Watching. I mentioned that I think I'm going to like this one better. I have it on audiobook. My library, I think I mentioned this, they don't have Libby anymore. They use Cloud Library. There's really no wait time. I'm going to start listening to it. I'm hoping it's good. I don't really know what it's about. She moves into, I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. I'll start it and then come back. Let's talk about When No One Is Watching. So this is a thriller that is about gentrification in a Brooklyn neighborhood. We have a girl named Sydney who moved back to her old neighborhood, and everywhere she looks, there's a new business. There's someone who's been kicked out, replacing it with higher end, you know, things. White people are now moving in, and specifically in her neighborhood, there's a white couple, Theo and Kim, and then I believe there's another white couple. Sydney is frustrated, and she's planning on doing some kind of a walk-in tour, basically touring where the town that they live in and highlighting notable facts from the past. Theo, who is the white husband of Kim, is going to be her assistant. We can tell that he's not really like Kim. He kind of reminds me, just not in a that much goofy way, Jacob from Abbott Elementary. Don't ask. I love Jacob. I can kind of feel like a little sizzle between them. He isn't technically married to Kim. I think they're just like together and they're living together. They are diving into the history of the neighborhood. Sydney and Theo's deep dive into history quickly becomes a dizzying descent into paranoia and fear. Their neighbors may not have moved to the suburbs after all, and the push to revitalize the community may be more deadly than advertised. When does coincidence become conspiracy? Where do people go when gentrification pushes them out? Can Sydney and Theo trust each other or themselves long enough to find out before they too disappear? I mentioned that I was going to be starting the audiobook at work. I did. I have been reading a little bit physically as well. I am on chapter 9 now, page 138. it took me a minute to get into, and I actually had started it earlier as an audiobook, and I had to put it down because I was so confused, and I waited until I went on my break to start it physically, and then I continued it after it because something wasn't clicking in my head, because they do have parts in here toward, not every end of the, yeah, I think it is at the end of every chapter. They have a community messaging thing. I don't know, like, is it text messages? I think it's kind of like maybe a social media thing. And it's called Gifford Place Our Hood. And they have different posts at the end of every chapter and different comments from people in the neighborhood. It's going good. I am enjoying it a lot more than the other book. It is slow, like it's a slow kind of mystery slash thriller, but I feel like I can tell from the beginning that it's building to something major that's going to be happening. So that's what I really like about it. The other audiobooks, because I'm still kind of new to audiobooks, the other ones that I've read were like 2.5. I think 2.5 if I'm reading along, and 2 if I'm just like listening to it. But this one I have to listen to on 1.6, honestly. I have to listen to it very slowly for some reason. Y'all, quickly, before I go take a bath. I don't like looking down like that. Okay. Quickly, y'all, I'm putting on my little stand. I wanted to update where I'm at. I'm probably almost done with it. I'm on 21. I'm somewhere in here, anywhere from 298 to 307. So I don't have that much left. I have probably 40 pages left. And I'm glad I was able to not finish it before I got home, because I wanted to say this. One thing about this kind of book, it's one of those things where, hold on. It's one of those things where what's the outcome? What's gonna happen after? Like, what's the resolution? Right, you know, peak climax. But I'm enjoying it. It's slow as a hell. When I think back of everything that I read, I'm like, we're just now getting to, you know, where we're at now. I grabbed the wrong book. I talked about this one already. Hold on, y'all. I gotta fix my thought process because I'm over here thinking about this book, not realizing I already told you my thoughts on this one. When no one is watching is what I was speaking about. I am gonna give this a 4-star. Even though it's super long, it does not need to be so dragged out like this. I feel like Alyssa Cole writing this as a thriller really got the right emotions out of me, especially because of what it's about. I can't even say that word. Gentrification. You know, I was angry, I was frustrated, but like I mentioned, this kind of book, what is the ending, right? In yesterday's clip, I was very satisfied with the ending of the story, but not the very, very ending of the book. Because of what it's about, I mean, it's realistic, you know, the real ending of the book, but the ending of what you just, this makes no sense, but the ending of what I read, I loved it. I ate it up, okay? Oh, she had me second guessing myself because, I'm not gonna say what it is, but I felt some way about someone, and at the very, like, the last 100-ish, no, not 100. I would say the last 50 pages of this, she had me second guessing myself. Super frustrating. Very scary. Very scary. I was spooked the entire time. I was cursing in my head, angry at the world. It's something that really happens, you know, and I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. It doesn't matter if I've never heard of something. Tell me your conspiracy theory or one that's just out there. If it's convincing enough, I'll believe you. And this book does have some conspiracy theories in the book, and I was right along with them. I think my thing's about to go off. If you hear something, that's the air fryer. Now, Alyssa Cole as an author. because this was about an author taste test. I said, even though I gave this a 4-star, in my head I said I probably wouldn't read her again. I thought that this video was a fail. I honestly think I need to read one more. I think just because she chose to write a character with DID, I don't think it turned out as well as she thinks it did. But this one was good. One thing that I feel like I'll notice about her if I continue to read her thrillers, I don't know if these are the only 2 she has left, but I do know she has a bunch of romances. I don't think I want to read a romance by her. I think because I've just been introduced to her and people talk about her being a thriller writer, so I don't think I'm interested in her romances. And I knew if I got off track, I would forget what I was saying before, and I did. Oh, one thing I think I'm gonna notice is the pacing. Why was it so long? Why are both of these so long? Like I said, more than half of this book was about her and her alters. Her, what was her name? Simone? Celeste? Kenitria. Ken. It was her and her inner, you know, mind. Okay, but I feel bamboozled by what's on the back. You know, you can't just say she finds herself trapped on an island with a murder. Yeah, when you have like 100 pages left, if even that. I'll be back. As I was saying, whereas this one, the slow pacing was, I was annoyed at first, but I think it was a good build-up, you know what I mean? Especially because I did listen to majority of it, so I don't know what it would be like to read most of this. In total, I read about 100 pages as a physical book. I feel like with this one, I had something to look forward to because the synopsis on the back, we get to it in here, whereas this one, you know? So I guess I would read another thriller of hers. I feel like I need to. We'll see. That's it for today's video. It turned out okay. I definitely want to do another one of these. I was supposed to do a different one. I was supposed to do multiple authors, but I went with these 2 because I needed to read this one to post about it, and I've been wanting to read this one. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I will see you next week. Bye!